Okay, so last episode we went to Tesco's and did some shopping, and then now I want to just show you how easy it can be to prep your food, because I hear it time and time again. How do you prep your food? It's too hard, I don't get the time. It is easy, you can do it quickly and efficiently, and you can fit it in around everything else. So I'm quickly going to unpack the shopping, get it in the oven, dish it out. This is something that I do in the week, after work, after training, before bed, and I think it's just all a case of routine. Get into the routine of doing it, have your kitchen set up so that everything's there ready to grab, and you can have your food prepped every day and enjoy it and know that it's the right food for you and it's healthy and it's helping you to achieve your goals. So literally, and this is literally what I do, I'm a bit ruthless. When I get home, I've been at work all day, I've trained for an hour, I haven't got time to faff around, I need to do it quick. So when I pack, even into the supermarket, I pack all my meats in one bag. You came shopping with me, so you kind of know what I've got. And again, get it all out. Potatoes together. And here, veggie stuff together, eggs there. So we're going to go fruit into there, rice over here, veggies, they can come out of the way. These can go in the cupboard there. We're going to be using all of this. Garlic pepper away. So we're going to start quickly with the meat. So I've got my meat pans here. So I'll get them out. Like that. You need a whole side. And then I'll get a knife, chicken. So I bought my chicken already diced. Again, I don't have time to faff about cooking that chicken. It's actually cost effective to buy it this way. I always look at like price per kilogram ratio. It's pure breast. Yeah, you know, it's Tesco's own, but you got to be savvy if you want to grow muscle. You need meat, and to buy like the best organic meat's not very cost efficient. So putting all these into here. Like that. I'm out of the way. This is my garlic pepper that I bought. So you have to be really careful with your flavourings, because a lot of flavourings have got hidden stuff in them that adds on extra calories, adds in extra carbs. Just put that there. And then I'll just give this, I said this in one of my videos the other day, if you want to be a bodybuilder or be a fitness competitor, you've got to be okay with repetitiveness, you've got to be okay with eating the same kind of food. Otherwise it's not going to work. So that's the chicken in. And then next, sweet potatoes. So there's different ways to do your sweet potatoes. Sometimes I might chop them up and make them into like wedges if I've got a lot of time, but if I'm just being quick, I'll throw them into the washing bowl to rinse them off, and then literally just throw them on whole. And then when they're cooked, I'll show you a quick tip to get them out of the skins. I'm just going to give them a quick soak. I'm going to put this bag away for later in the week because I don't have a freezer and I eat fresh. What I'll tend to do is prep 3 to 4 days of food and then just top up for the rest of the week with whatever I need. So potatoes, literally rough and ready with your food prep, because you've got other stuff to do, life must go on, and this needs to be time efficient and effective. It is nice when you have time, like on the weekend I do like to spend a little bit of extra time on my meals, or I might not have my meals prepped ahead of time on the weekend and I'll actually cook them as I go. You know, put a little bit of extra effort into my food prep, but in the week it's not happening. Life is busy, time is of the essence. Oh, yeah. So we've got 3 lots of chicken, sweet potato in there. So that generally that will stay in for about, the chicken gets cooked first and the sweet potato, but again when I went shopping I said that sweet potatoes I get them nice and small because they cook quicker. And I usually, in the week when I top this up, so I always do, it's Sunday today, so I always do this on a Sunday, and then come Wednesday I need to top up my prep, and that will usually be really late on the evening, so again, getting it done quick. Next, we've got red meats. We've got white meat, carbs in, so now I need to do my red meat and my rice. So to do that, I need these, and I need my food scales. Right, so ready to go for meat and rice. Rice, I'm gonna put my water in, put it on to the hob, and then I need a pan for my mincemeat. So your lean mincemeat, you don't really need to put anything else in the pan because it's got its own fat in, so it doesn't tend to stick. So with that, I'm literally just gonna open it out and chuck it in. Let that warm up. If I do use anything, it's the zero low calorie. I can't find it. I must have run out, but if I do use like an oil, it's the 0 calorie 1 cal spray oil that I use in there. If I'm cooking a steak, because sometimes a steak will stick, so I use the 0 calorie spray. So I've stuck that in. I'm just gonna give it a little mix. So if I was in the middle of my off season now, here's where I'd chuck in some carrots, I'd chuck in some peppers, and I'd chuck in whatever I wanted really, white mushrooms, that kind of stuff. And I'd also throw in some more spice. I am going to put my garlic pepper in. And I'm going to put some salt in as well. This is a garlic salt. So salt when you compete is really, really important. A lot of your food has salt in anyway, but depending on where you are in your prep, you have to make sure that you're doing the right thing with your salt, and if you have a coach, they'll be responsible for taking you through that. Yes, I'm going to leave that to cook, and then next I'm going to start to weigh up my rice. So rice, everything that I eat, I weigh cooked. So all my meat is weighed cooked, my potatoes are weighed cooked, steaks weighed cooked. The only thing that isn't weighed cooked is it's things that hold water. So oats and rice hold water. And so what we do is we weigh them raw so we know exactly how much we're putting in. My meals at the moment, my rice is 60 gram of rice, which is quite high still per meal. So what I tend to do is weigh my rice out so that I've got 2 portions in there. So that's 120 grams of rice, and then I'll split that into 2. When I'm right in the middle of my off season, I will weigh more rice together, so I'll do up to 6 portions into 1 container, and then when I split it out, I'll do like a spoon into each so that it evens it equally across my meals. But when I start to get into actually dieting phase, you can't really risk judging your weights of your rice that much, so you have to just split it. 2 is okay because you can generally just half it, but once it gets to more than 2, it's harder to make sure you've got the weight ratio right. And you might think that's a little bit extreme, but when you've got in your diet, you've got 2 meals that have got 20 grams of rice each, and you're adjusting your rice by 5 grams, let's say 1 week to the next, you can't really afford to get that wrong because it does go down to that level of detail. So the rice in, meats in, veg. I do buy my veg already cut. Again, convenience. Unfortunately, I'm not a lady of leisure. I don't have time to cook and cut. Cut broccoli, no. So that just goes in there. 4.5 minutes. So now I've got most of the stuff is in cooking in the oven. So now, again, essentials for anybody in competition prep is your containers. So while the food's cooking, I just get these out, ready. There. I've got my scales here, and then once everything's cooked, I will weigh it all out into the pots for the week. Other things that I eat outside of what we've just done is eggs, 6 eggs a day, other stuff that I've got in my cupboard. So for me, the way that you live at home is really important, and the way the little routines and the habits that you get into are really important. So I don't buy anything that's not on my diet plan. I have my own food, and then I have my 11-year-old son who lives with me as well. So if you have children in the house, it's really important to get into that mindset of that's their food and you don't eat that food. What I do with his stuff is his school snacks are in a bag. So we've got crisps and chocolates in there that he takes to school. I put anything that I'm not eating inside of a bag, because if you open the cupboard door and you're hungry and you're starving and the first thing you see is a packet of crisps or a chocolate, immediately you're going to feel even hungrier. Immediately you're setting yourself up to fail. So even though I know it's there, by putting it inside of a carrier bag, when I open the cupboard, it's not the first thing that I see. I don't think about it, and I can just shut the cupboard and get what I went in there for and not feel like I've been knocked off my kind of plan. So that is a big tip that I use. I do the same in the fridge, so he's got some little bits in the fridge. I put it all kind of out of sight. He knows where it is, it's his. I know it's there, but I don't see it every time I open the cupboard. Only the stuff that I've got in my cupboard is like oats, rice cakes, coffee, tea, peanut butters and almond butters. So during an off season, I'll use these around training to give me that extra energy and that extra push through a training session. And also if I've got like a cheat meal, I'll use it to get my carbs, fats up, and to keep the metabolism functioning well. And that's it really. If you don't buy it, you can't eat it, is my saying to people. When they say, oh, how do you do it? Don't buy it and then you can't eat it. Okay, so we'll wait for this to cook and then take you through dishing it up. Okay, so food's all cooked. It's been in the oven for about 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm gonna get it out now, dish it up, weigh it out and put it into its containers. Ooh! So, chicken here. I'm gonna do is pop these on here. So all my food is weighed out into portions. Chicken's there. Potato there. And more chicken. So this is a bit more like it's more of a production line than cooking. Okay, so I've got my diet in my phone, but I actually know it in my head. So my meats at the moment, so this changes depending on where I am in my prep, but my meats generally are 150 grams. So I've got my digital scales here, and these are really, really important. I say that, but I actually can weigh my food by eye now. I still like to weigh it on the scales just to make sure that I get it right, but sometimes my scales can be temperamental and they decide to not work. When that happens, I can pretty much get it by eye. I think once you become so used to weighing your food, you know what's what really. I know what 100 grams of potato looks like. I know what 150 grams of meat looks like. Some things are harder to gauge than others, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So yeah, 150 grams of lean mince. So my lean mince, I have one of these a day. Then if I have any left over with any of my meats, any of my foods, anything that I have left over in terms of proteins and carbs, I put them in a separate container, and then if I'm starving outside of my diet, that will be something that I go and pick into outside of what's in the set plan. Chicken. So again, 150 grams of chicken, so I put this back to the beginning, back to 0. And then, do you know what? It's 100, 150. So we do all the meat first. I've kind of burnt these a little bit more than I wanted to, but with my meat, I'd rather, again, I don't ever want to food poison myself, so I'd always rather overcook it a little bit than undercook it. And I think I've got to a point now with food where, yeah, it's nice for food to taste good, but food is just something, it's just fuel, and it's nice if it tastes good, but at the end of the day it's there for a purpose. Obviously you need it, but you're using it to help you to grow and to recover, and so it's a case of just getting it in regardless of how good it tastes. It's got to go in. So here I've got the last little bit left, and it's like, is it going to make the 150 or am I going to... It's 120. Okay, so that, then I know that's not 150. It's 120, it's 30 grams under, so it's not really enough to put into a portion. So I'm going to put that over there, and that'll go in like a separate space in the fridge. All my trays are in. So my rice, again, I said with my rice is a little bit more difficult to weigh out and to measure, because you have to weigh it uncooked, and then put it into your meal. So what I tend to do with this is do 2 at a time, so that I'm never going too far off of what it should be, but using a spoon. So this is 2 servings, so I'm literally doing like a spoon. I'm trying to get the spoons the same size-ish. My coach might tell me off for doing this and saying that I should weigh each portion separately. So but I think I get them pretty much the same. So this is 60 grams each. And then sweet potato. So I like to do my sweet potato, sometimes I'll chop them up and do them in wedges, sometimes I'll just do them whole. I like to take the skins off. So here's a trick on your sweet potato. Instead of peeling them and standing over the sink for hours, first cook them and just peel off the skins. They're still quite hot, so I usually leave these to kind of cool down first. Get another separate pot. So peel the skins off, put the ones that are done in. My sweet potato at the moment is still sitting really high, 200 grams per meal. So this is going to drop right down over the next few weeks, so I'm going to appreciate that where I can. 116, 162, 190, 200. So I'm going to have that with my chicken. Again. So I already know that's going to be too much. 194, that'll do. Chicken. Again, production line style. Knew that was going to be too much. Just under 200. That's in. Now I'm just going to throw some in with the skins on as well. So I reckon that's going to be, I'd say that's going to be about 160 to 170 grams. So if we put that in, 178 grams. So you probably need about that much more. Bang on 200. And again, maybe 200. 205, that's fine. Can go in. Too much, 225. Take a bit out. 190, not quite enough. 200. So it's really important, if you want to change your body weight, it's really important to weigh your food, because how else are you going to change your body weight if you're eating the same food? The only way that you can up or down your weight is to increase or decrease the weight of your food. Simple, what you put in your body is going to affect how much you weigh. $198. So that one into there. And then this is the last one that's not really, maybe 200 with this as well. Perfect. So one extra kind of carbs to meat ratio, which is fine. So then I put all this over here just to go straight in the bin. And then the only thing left then is greens. So again, a handful of greens in each. And then of course some pepper. Oh. Literally just, I'll wipe the rest off the side afterwards. So this is the food that sits in the middle of my day for the next 3 days now. So my breakfast in the morning is oats. Obviously I cook that fresh. And then this is like my work food. So when I'm out of the house, when I go to work, this is the food that I eat at work. So I have oats in the morning, and then when I get to work I'll have, while I'm at work I'll have 2 chicken meals. Then when I get home I have my mince meal, and then before bed after my training I have eggs which I cook fresh, and then a protein before bed as well. So what I do is just stack them all up. And you know, when I eat my food at work, people always say, oh, you know, that smells good and smells really nice. And I think it's not that hard to do. It's actually easier than shopping day to day. So then what I'll do is put it out. So those are my 2 chickens that I'll have at work. Those are the ones that I'll have when I get home. So that's 3 days of food for when I'm away from the house. Again, I eat my oats cooked fresh as meal 1, and I eat my eggs cooked fresh as meal 4. These are just spare ones, so they'll roll over into the day after. So that'll do me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, some of Thursday, and then I'll top up. So Wednesday night I'll top up my food and do the same thing again, which will see me through to Sunday. So that is my food prep, and then just stick it into the fridge. So if I show you my fridge isn't very exciting. It is just empty at the moment. There's a little bit of leftover food prep there, some peas and some rice and some sorry looking tomatoes. Oh, and Diet Coke. So I am allowed Diet Coke because it's low sugar, low calorie, and it's just really a little bit of a lifeline if you need to pick me up. So I'll pick up. So then I actually stack it into the days. So in the mornings, when I come for work, I just grab out a day's food. Yeah, so that's pretty much what my fridge looks like most of the time. Ready to go. So in the morning, boom, and into this bag. So another trick that I have for you, so this bag is my food prep bag, and I literally don't leave home without this if I'm going to work. And one of the really kind of things that have gotten me through dieting is a rule that I have with this bag. So I leave the house and I put my food into this bag, and what I say to myself is, while I'm out of the house, if it's not in the bag, I don't eat it. If I haven't put it in that bag, then you're not eating anything outside of it. Because especially if you are working in an office and there's like crisps and chocolate and just shit everywhere basically in the office, because that's what tends to happen in offices. So there's lots of temptation, but I'm all right in knowing that my food for the day is in that bag. I'm not going to eat anything that hasn't been packed by me in there, and like mentally that just works really, really well. So I'd highly recommend to anybody that wants to eat well and stick to a diet plan, get yourself a little thermo bag. I've got like the 6-pack bags and everything else as well, but this one's just nice and compact for the day. Get a 6-pack bag, a thermo bag, put your food in it every day and don't eat anything that isn't in there. Simple.